Remember, we're all on a mission here. Mine is to share with the world that there's a Jewish universal wisdom. What is yours? I love this phrase. And the person who said this phrase is my next guest today, Michal Oshman.
Hi.
איזה יופי. I'm
איזה
so
כיף.
excited
We waited
to have
years
you.
for this moment.
Yes.
I did.
Yes, me too. Me too.
כיף.
First, I love to host amazing, great, inspirational women. And when I saw the title of your book, I said, wow, it hits you.
Yeah.
I think because it's a phrase that everybody, no matter what, they think about it at least once.
Yeah.
They have it in their head. Like, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Isn't fear what drives us?
It could potentially drive us in the same way that sometimes anxiety could drive us and other feelings. However, so actually what you're saying is spot on. Fear is so normal. Right? Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tzar me'od. The whole entire world is a very narrow bridge, but the main thing is to have no fear at all. But we know that there is fear, so it's almost like welcoming the fact that fear is normal.
Right.
But then what do you do about it? And when I joined Facebook about 10 years ago in London, I'm based in London. This is a fake British accent. I'm obviously Israeli. Thank you so much. I don't know if my British friends would agree. When I joined Facebook around 10 years ago and I joined the kind of company, I saw on the reception, above the reception, there was a big sign that said, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" And I felt like that sign was written for me because I've been afraid most of my life. But at the age of 39, 38, when I joined, I realized there's a workplace that acknowledges the fact that we're going to be afraid, but also invites you to think, but what if you weren't afraid? What would you do?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's strong. So let's go step by step. Firstly, how was this book conceived, basically? And when?
So the book is a mission. And my publisher, DK, Penguin Random House, they don't like when I say, like, I don't see myself as an author. I never had a dream to write and to become an author. But I had a story to tell. Mm-hmm. And it was burning, yearning inside of me to write the story and to write it with my voice as a woman that is very familiar with anxiety and fear, that did one or two things in her life. And after trying everything, all the isms to heal myself, Buddhism, Taoism, all the isms, at the age of 38, I realized that there's a Judaism. I had no access to Judaism, but what happened often in life, you have to go away or move from somewhere, from let's say Israel to Golders Green, to find out that there's this thing called spiritual Judaism, universal spiritual Judaism. And there's this thing about like kind of, I guess, Jewish psychology. And that was a turning point. That was a very meaningful point in my life when I was really struggling inside. My LinkedIn looked great. 3 university degrees, officer in the IDF, eBay, TikTok. Well, I wasn't at TikTok but then. Facebook, all of that. From the outside, everything was great. But from inside, I was in a lot of pain. I felt shame. I felt despair. And that tension between the outside and the inside at some point was really, damaging.
Is Judaism what helped you understand your fears and then creating such a book?
So my biggest, greatest discovery was that I have a soul. A godly soul. And sometimes my friends in different, like Chabad friends, they're like, oh, I'm envious of you a bit because like you discovered it just before becoming 40. It's almost like there was a life-changing discovery. And yes, in a way, I'm 10 years old because I was exposed to a lot of pain in my life. I share it in the book. Sometimes it could be triggering for people to watch and hear. I saw death. I saw violence. And it went inside. And I tried to be perfect. So there was a lot of pain and suffering from the outside. And then I was trying to be this perfect girl, then later perfect teenager, then later perfect officer, wife, mother. That caused a lot of anxiety.
You look perfect.
And I was also, by the way, a little bit obsessed with my external, which is a way sometimes when we channel anxiety, sometimes we get obsessed about, like, I want to control. I want to control people. I want to control what people think of me. And I want to control aging, which you can't. Right. As my husband says, we age from the moment we're born. So I was trying to do a lot of work and heal. And yes, but I felt broken. but not broken. There's nothing more complete than a broken heart.
Right.
En shalem milev shavur. Broken, damaged. Mamash. Like not good.
That you couldn't
That I couldn't,
function.
that I was sure that like, I'll live more years, but I'm not going to live meaningfully, and definitely not with joy. I thought we were supposed to be sad.
Incredible. It's shocking. I'll tell you why. Because when I see you now, physically, you are the most happy and confident and smiling, beautiful person. So to know that behind you and inside you there was so much pain and so much suffering, it's something that's incredible.
I want you to know that I'm not fully rid of anxiety, and I don't know if I'll ever be. And I really care about, again, normalizing and speaking about this candidly, because sometimes people see me, they see, you know, what we see maybe from the outside, or she's a senior leader at tech, this is top Israeli in TikTok and all of those things, you know, which is, it's not wrong. Yeah. But what I want to normalize that we all have our own, you know, background, childhood, history. At some point I kind of let go of it and decided to focus on now and then evolve my life. But anxiety is that part. I always have that trigger. I always, not always, but sometimes there is that trigger. A missed call from this or this, or that, you know, that you feel it in your body, right? That heat, like sometimes I feel my throat. But as opposed to my older version, which would completely go into panic, can't manage, but managed, now I have this way of like thinking about what am I going through, what is my thought process, why am I thinking this, is this, and just really working on myself through the tools of Tanya and Chassidut, etc., that help me contain myself. And yes, I feel like I'm dealing like better with life, I guess.
Incredible. I was just about to say that Chassidut is something that can really help, and Tanya, all these spiritual, and they're so real. Your book goes step by step with also Judaism and Jewish life, which is amazing. So when did you 10 years ago, you said you became...
10 years ago, I started going to a Tanya shiur, and then
This is together with your husband?
Well, that's another session. Baruch Hashem, my husband and I are on this journey together. I think our approach or perspective is a bit different. I feel like when I discovered these ideas and then later on also started to practice Shabbat, so now we keep Shabbat, Kashrut, and other main mitzvot of kind of a Jewish family, I came to this, I think, from like the sparkle in your eye. Wow, Neshama Elokit, I'm here to do something. And really like the tension inside and the working on the ego and all of that. My husband, Yair, I think came to this from a more, you can say even cultural perspective, right. Which is like, we live in Chutz La'aretz. When we grew up in Israel, you didn't have to tell anyone it was Yom Kippur. You don't have to worry, you feel it in the atmosphere. When you go to Chutz La'aretz, unless you tell your children who they are, where they came from, what we believe in, you really don't know how they're going to evolve. And we're kind of meeting in a really nice middle.
Oh, that's good. Your husband is English?
He's Israeli.
Oh, okay. So you moved together from
We
here.
met in Tel Aviv. He was a customer. I served some food for him in a restaurant. Fell in love. Got married.
Wow.
A restaurant that I can't go to anymore any longer. And then we moved to London. And listen, with all the smiles and everything, like every journey. Also, this journey of discovering Chassidut and getting excited about things has its own implications. Moving to London from Israel has its own implications, right? This impact. No one could say my name. I couldn't get a job. First year of marriage,
Then you have children.
We have 4 children.
Okay. Do you miss Israel?
I'm here, so I definitely miss Israel. And I really care deeply about translating and like kind of adapting the book, What Would You Do If You Weren't Afraid, to a book in Hebrew that I'm publishing now with Yediot Achronot called Ha'ometz Lefached Baderech La'atzlacha, which speaks about, many of us kind of keen to be successful. And for me, successful or Hatzlacha, I'm less keen about the successful of like, what does your Instagram look like? Or does your LinkedIn say that you've... Hatzlacha for me is the success, the internal one, when I know that I'm overcoming my own obstacles, one step at a time. I don't have to post about it. Yeah. But sometimes you have to allow yourself to be afraid to get over something that you want to get over or get rid of or evolve from. And that's hatzlacha for me. That's kind of this internal growth and success.
It's a bit like life starts out of your comfort zone. It's like
Yeah,
in a much greater way.
And I feel comfortable not feeling comfortable, and it's a
Right.
type, right?
Oh, it's great because it pushes you.
Yeah, it pushes you.
But are you happy?
So you see, the word happiness, I feel like in English I relate to it less, and I'll explain why. In Hebrew, simcha,
Ken.
I relate to it a bit more. When I hear happiness, for me, it's more about like a feel good that can just go away in a second. I'm more engaged with words like meaning. I'm obsessed about Viktor Frankl, and I write about Viktor Frankl in the book, also connected to anxiety. So he speaks about this existential vacuum, right? That we can have 2 phones and 3, I don't know, this and that, and a beautiful home and and it's beautiful. But inside, it's possible that we'll still feel empty.
Void.
And this void, and that triggers anxiety and fear and depression and all of that. And actually, this search to fill yourself with meaningful things that will stick and stay in this kli that is ours is really good for mental health. So for me, simcha is like finding that thing. What's my essence in this world? What is my neshama here to do? If I start doing it, again, doesn't happen in a second, but if I really connect to it, I start feeling maybe more meaning, maybe more joy, and it could stick for a bit longer than like the happiness of like when I shop, which I also love doing.
Don't take that away from us, please.
Yeah, that's like the basic.
I think that firstly, what you project for women, us today, is very important, and I want women to look at you and understand that you can have it all. I mean, as you say, maybe it's my question, can you have it all?
So the question is, so there's this, like, I think Sheryl Sandberg says something about it, and Arianna Huffington, you can have it all but not at the same time. This term work-life balance, I don't connect to it. Because if I'm sitting here with you now in Yerushalayim, and my children are in London, and I'm actually, my head is thinking, wait, did I remember that after-school activity? Did I send them to submit the form? My head
is a woman.
I don't feel balanced.
Right.
The term that I connect to is work-life integration. I'm in the driver's seat. I can see the full, picture of my life, my professional life, my being a partner to my husband, a mother, a daughter, a community member, a professional. Nachon, we have this like huge umbrella, this gam, v'gam, v'gam, v'gam. That's the reality that we live in. It can be hugely overwhelming. Yeah. And I allow myself to be this authority of deciding how to navigate. And I integrate. It took me a lot of time. To say, do you know what? I'm not there every evening. I'm not there actually every day. And by the way, I don't tell my kids, I'm now promoting the book in Israel so I can pay for your after-school activities. I'm in Israel because I'm doing what I really believe in and what I feel I was born to do. Nice. With a sparkle in your eye. And that's it. And they're part, we're a team.
Nice.
So of course, sometimes there's disappointments, and sometimes I miss out on things at work. I missed out on huge things at TikTok because my daughter had a dance assembly, and that was also okay. But I try to make the decisions for myself and not to really care too much about what others would say.
That's amazing.
Maybe I'm not the favorite from the mom pickup sometimes. אבל בסדר.
I see a little bit of myself.
Oh, that's where we connected.
Because I also when you're doing an interview and you're thinking to yourself, did I remember to give her, to put up dinner and everything? And when we come home and we just let go. But I think that if we do what we want to do, that's where, we're happy and we can give more to our children.
And I like rolling my sleeves in, and even something looks a bit, like before joining TikTok. Yeah. It was a huge career decision. I was such a big part of, I thought, Facebook's culture, and I was there for 7 years, and I really had it was an incredible experience. And suddenly this younger company coming to disrupt, arriving as a disruptor to the entertainment and social media scene. And I was like, I'm not sure, but I saw that my daughter was on TikTok, and I was like this, I wasn't sure, and I did the pros and cons, I did everything. And then eventually I decided yalla, I'll try. What's the worst that can happen? If there's a social media entertainment platform that my children are consuming content on, I want to be able to influence how it evolves, how it shapes up. So, and later I learned, which I'm not comparing TikTok to Kabbalat Torah, this essence in Judaism, chas v'chalila, lenaseh v'nishma. right?
Amazing.
That we have something inside of us that when we feel that something's right for us, when something feels like an opportunity that we can do something meaningful, and of course it's more natural to speak about it in the context of Yadut, where, you know, things are much more kedusha and spiritual, but also in day-to-day life. I have so many women that tell me, I want to meet someone, I want to date someone, I want a husband. And I ask them, okay, so what do you do about it? Are you putting yourself there? But I'm not sure if I should date him. Date him. I want to do a career change, but I'm not sure if this is exactly the right place. Do you have other opportunities? Does it feel right? Yes. Do it. What's the worst? Don't take risk. Right. But if there's something in front of you that feels like this could be my meaning, this could be my opportunity, and you're not risking anything, sometimes it's better just to take one step.
Totally, totally. I really hope that women get inspired by you, like you do already. You do TED Talks, which I've seen, amazing.
Thank you.
And you can give confidence and break the ceiling of this, you know, when people think, I'm come from Italy. You're religious, you're Jewish, so like, you know, they start looking, so you're home with kids, which is amazing already by itself. And here we go, we see a beautiful woman, a career woman, who is aware of her Jewish soul and Jewish mind, and to connected to it, produced a book that's becoming a bestseller.
Already is.
Already is. Sorry. I wanted to say already is, and it came out here. And I can't wait to read it, actually. And I read like just a few here and there. And I really think that people can take a lot of, you know, inspiration from your journey.
Thank you.
I hope we can read also what your life, I mean, if I had...
Yeah, it's very personal. I really open up. It's a combination, sorry to interrupt you. It's a combination of my personal experience with the struggles, candid, open, completely.
Amazing.
And then the discoveries that I made, professional and also spiritual. And then every chapter ends with a coaching section, which is like practical ways to bring this to life. Because we like tachlis, right? We want to, okay, so how can I do it tomorrow morning? Because I'm also a coach and professionally, I really cared about bringing
so many things.
No, it's part of the job, you know.
I'm starting to feel like this.
Mamash, no. Like every end of chapter has a really practical section, a coaching, self-coaching, and it's called "If You Change Nothing, Nothing Will Change." And Albert Einstein said that, not me. Well, it's true.
So
if we
true.
want to see change in our life, something has to change.
Something has to change.
And it's mostly us, inside.
Incredible. This has to sit next to my bed
Now you're going to have a dedication
every
for me.
every day to read it. And I really advise people to go and get it. I believe so. It's going to be a very big help for especially us women who face so many challenges every single day. You have become yourself a shlucha of Chabad, like you said.
Unofficially. I made myself.
Chabad is in love with you.
No, this is like chatty, right? I'm not a shlucha officially.
It's okay, we're all shluchim b'met, and you really are on a mission. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule. I hope you're successful in promoting your book, and there should be more and more. And keep on inspiring, Michal, because it was a long time that I wanted to meet you.
Yeah, toda.
Really
everything back to you.
Toda rabba, and good luck. So go get your books. I got mine signed, and keep on being inspired. See you later.